What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo podcast. This week, full time versus part time, flexible scheduling, parenting, multiple streams of income, and a stalker, potential threat to a community. Right on the other side.
Well, the midnight headlight, blinding on a rainy night, street trade up ahead, slowing down and taking no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those in the windshield wipers snapping out the tempo, playing perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. This week, you guys are super lucky because I have an awesome guest. It's not just going to be me like last week, which was when I'm alone, I should not be left alone to my own podcast. I go off too much. So I get too real. But this week, I feel I'm stoked. I know some other of you are stoked. I've actually never had a conversation with this person. I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of the audio podcast listeners used to never, but I know a handful of you do now come to YouTube. And if you do, my guest today is Drew, and his handle on YouTube is Dashing Maverick. If you want to check him out, he is what we refer to as, or what I refer to with my audio podcast community as a safe site. Like it's not going to be some of the things you hate, like all the arguing and name calling and all the bickering and crap. So this is a channel you guys might enjoy. So check out Dashing Maverick, and the link will be in the show notes of all the podcasts as well. Many of you do know him, but if you don't, at the end, very soon here, you're going to know Drew. So, Mr. Maverick, how are you?
Doing well. How's your day going?
It's good, man. Like I was telling you right before we went live, I did have to take my dog to the vet today because of some eye stuff. Too long of a story to get into, but never fun going to the vet for two reasons. Obviously, you're concerned about your pet. Also, for those of you that don't have pets, vet ain't cheap. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like it really is. I don't even remember if it was always this way, but it's like going in, taking your car in. Because after you talk to the vet, then they're like, so you want to do all that? And you're always like, yes, because it's like, do you want to help your dog? Like, yeah, okay, well then let's get you an estimate. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, just do it and charge me. I know it's gonna be bad. Don't do the estimate. Like, well, take the pain pills off. He doesn't need those. Like, just tell me what it is. Like, just give me the damage. But I guess we should start off with, first of all, I wanted to say hi to the podcast listeners, to the YouTube listeners, which we are live on today. So I'll say hi to you guys in a minute. But real quickly, before we get into anything, you want to tell us a little bit about Drew, Dashing Maverick, your channel, your market, anything about you before we dive in?
Sure, yeah. So, my name is Drew. I've got the YouTube channel Dashing Maverick, and I came up with that just because I have a Ford Maverick. So I thought it was a clever name. I do have a full-time job, so I do gig work part-time, as much as I can. It really helps make ends meet where my day job doesn't. I'm married. I've been married for it's about to be 16 years. We've got three children and stay pretty busy.
Yeah, I would imagine. So you're married with three kids. And I'm not sure if you're familiar. I'm the market I'm in. The Drivens are also in, Tony and Lisa, and the Driven dad, the Driven mom. Her and him both used to work. They have six kids. They homeschool them. And so she's home right now, and he's doing all the work, but Lisa does all the work too, all the time. I know them very well. Is it like that in your household? Do you both have day jobs, or is she taking care of everything at home, and you're having to do these extra everything?
So when I started doing gig work, she didn't have a full-time job. She did some nannying on the side. We also homeschool our kids.
Oh, okay.
Well, two of them. Our oldest one's already graduated and kind of out of the house a little bit. But
Yeah, adult parenting is fun, isn't it?
oh man, it's almost
For
more
those of you that
stressful.
aren't there yet, it's not fun. That was totally sarcastic. It's kind of annoying, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to let them make their own decisions. But um, but earlier this year, my wife actually got a full-time job at a summer camp, retreat camp, and we're actually moved out here and we live out here. So my zone that I really loved working in is an hour away now, where we were living. So I still commute a little bit to get out there and do some work.
So the job moved you in Texas from wherever you were to where you are now. Did you guys get like, is the housing paid for or something? Was there another incentive that got it to be like, no, we're going?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this is the camp. They do youth camp in the summer and then retreats throughout the year. And her job requires her to live on the property. So there's a house that we live in out here. We don't have to
Oh,
pay rent,
awesome.
electricity. I mean, just about
Nice.
everything's paid for. And then whenever they have campers here, and they provide meals for them, we get to go in there and eat as well. So our grocery
Oh,
bill's gone
wow.
down a little bit as well. It's been a huge blessing. It's almost too good to be true,
So like
but
you could
it's been
retire
nice.
now.
Uh, Almost. No, we have too many bills still.
I get it. I get it. But it's still cool. I mean, like, and if it's year round, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure. I'm even sure what I thought I knew what your nearest town was. Is it Dallas?
No, so the nearest largest town is San Antonio. We're
Okay.
about
Okay.
we're
Okay.
about 2 hours away.
From San Antonio?
Yeah,
God, I forget how big Texas is. Like the
yeah,
nearest city's
A-
this, and it's
and
still two
actually,
hours.
yeah, yeah. Actually, my day job, I'm in San Antonio once a week. So I'm going to
So
be
wait, are
driving out
you
there
anywhere
tomorrow.
near Brandon, Dashing Grandpa?
No,
Wichita
isn't I
Falls?
think he's in Wichita.
He's in
No,
Wichita
that's close to
Falls.
Arlington, I think. I'm probably 8 hours away from him.
Jesus, Texas is like a country, you
It's
guys.
huge. It is huge. It takes us about 8 to 10 hours just to get out of Texas from where I'm at.
I mean, I can't because I'm trying to think, man. It's like I do know my geography very well, and I go to Austin, or I was going to Austin often to work with the para team once they moved out there. Luis was coming up from Houston. I know Dallas is only an hour and a half, maybe from Austin. I feel like Wichita Falls was 2 hours from Austin. How is everything so close to Austin then?
I guess Austin's kind of central a little bit to those towns.
So how far
Yeah,
is
I'm
Austin from you? That'll be the last.
about 3.5 hours.
See, but all these other like 8 hours to get out of the state, like now that just is even 3 hours. Seems like everywhere is close from Austin.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Ish.
they're
Ish.
centrally kind of unless you're going west.
Yeah, okay.
But
Uh,
yeah, I'm down on the Gulf Coast, so I'm right on the bay.
so I want to say hi to the to the people who came in before more come in. So real quick, hey Miko, hey Traveler, hey I got to get this right. Hey Frank, slash Dave slash Just Roy Delivery, and yes, it's Frank. Hey Francis, hey Ellen, hey Ivanaska, and hey Ron, how are you doing? So, and anybody else watching? There, I see other people in here as well. Just drive, watch. But I just wanted to say hi to you guys real quick. But um, okay, so I asked you if you were a plumber before we started because I thought that I had heard that. I always try and pick up
It's true.
tidbits and remember them, but I know you corrected me a little bit on exactly what you do. So you're with, is it water treatment or what was it again now?
Yeah, it's water treatment. So we do a cooling tower is like a water cooled air conditioner basically. So my
Right,
job is to take samples and treat the water so
like the
that
swamp coolers.
similar, yeah.
Okay,
They cool through evaporation. So I take samples of the water and then I'll dose it with chemical to prevent corrosion and prevent calcium scale.
gotcha.
And just make sure it's running properly. So I don't have anything to do with the mechanical side of it, just the water. And then I'm a licensed plumber also, so I do some side work
Right.
and
So the
a little
plumbing
bit.
and working with the hardware end of it, you're kind of the all like probably all the like connect all the feed tubing, whatever. piping
Exactly.
to get to the unit and taking care of. I get it. I get where you come into that. And I get where you don't call it a plumber too, because it's actually you took your plumber experience and this is not a promotion because we're independent contractors, but this is a side pivot that makes more money and probably makes you happier. Maybe I don't know.
It's easier, that's for sure.
Okay, easier then. If it's easier, I mean, like I have a friend out here who's a master plumber, and he tells me the nastiest stuff. The
Mm.
nastiest stuff. Like I was like, dude, you get paid fat though. And he said to me, yeah, he's like, you ever had to get in to shut off something and actually been this high and literally shit and have a little piece of it get in your eyeball?
Ooh.
He goes, have you ever had that happen? I said, no, can't say I have.
I haven't had that happen either,
Are you
but
a
I
master plumber?
I am not, but I'm
All right.
surprised it wasn't The Apprentice that was in there.
I think he was trying to tell me this is when I was running bars and stuff. I think for when it comes to that, maybe I'm wrong, but here in Colorado, maybe you have to be a master plumber to do some shutoffs.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean,
I
I don't
know,
know that that's the case. I'm totally just spitballing here because he did have people that worked for him, and I don't know why he wouldn't send them into it
yeah,
first.
maybe it was liability. I don't know. I just remember when I was an apprentice, I did all the nasty stuff, but I didn't
Yeah.
have to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So you do that. You still do how many hours a week on the gig apps?
It hasn't been as much since we've been living out here, but I'm gonna say between 16 and 20. So I used to
Before
do
before you moved?
no, since we've
Oh,
moved.
now. Okay.
So the way I've got it set up, I don't really do a whole lot during the week.
Yes, because
But
you
if my
need to go
wife,
because you need to go the whatever 45-hour back or whatever to be in a market that would be worth it.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, and like where we live now, basically, it's an hour from my day job. It's an hour from where I like to dash. It's out in the boonies. So I I don't like to drive from where my day job is probably 30 minutes from my zone, and then work, and then come all the way home. It's just too much gas.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, no, I fully get
So,
it. Yeah.
but my wife, some weekends she's off, but when she works on the weekends, then I just go dash, and I'll dash 8 hours Saturday, eight
Yeah,
hours
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah. But I'm saying like if you were where you are, if right in your house, if you turned on the apps you use, would you get anything?
Nothing,
Nothing. There's
nothing.
nothing.
No, I'm about 15 minutes from the nearest town, and that town has a Dairy Queen and a convenience store.
Okay, so if you went to that town and turned on all of your apps, would you get anything?
Probably not. I've never tried it because I just didn't think it was worth it. So
You literally,
I'll
because yeah, because I mean, you have experience. You can tell. I mean, I'm saying like you can look at that and go, there's no orders go in there. Period. I don't. I
yeah.
just know it. Okay. So it literally is be in your old market, or just you're not going to be even turned them on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's
Okay.
some other markets that I will work in if I feel like trying something different. But my old market is the best in the area.
So this gets me to the point of, and especially when I was working with Para, because right before Para became gig safe, and we were there in Austin, I was starting to actually have talks for the first time, and I had them on the audio podcast in 2021, the CEO founder. But I was starting to talk to their team in Texas, and I was impressed. But I also was impressed when I thought we were going to be able to help GoPuff. But you have an app there called Favor.
Yes, sir.
Um, is Favor worth a damn?
Oh, I love Favor. I
Yeah.
mean, it
Okay.
depends on
Because
the day.
I was starting to really like. I had the CEO founder, like I said, on a couple of years back on the audio podcast, but I was starting to talk with their team, and I felt like what they were telling me was like the things I wanted to hear because it was like it wasn't the same old trash. And I mean,
Mm,
it's. I mean, of course, all apps are alike in some ways, but there were little nuances where I'm like, "That's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, dude, why aren't you in Denver?" Like, you know. But that's why I'm wondering: is it favor? So to me, that implies tasks. Is it just open ended on the tasks, or is it just food? Is it grocery?
it's it's food and groceries. I've got a hair hanging from my hat. Sorry. Yeah, it's food and grocery. The thing about Favor is if you're picking up from a fast food restaurant or a restaurant in general, you have to place the order for the customer. Which I like that only because it helps me dirty stack. I can place that order, then go do a DoorDash while they're preparing it, and then go pick it up. Um,
So wait a minute. So wait. So somebody, if I want to order from Favor. So
okay.
what am I gonna be doing now?
So, well, I've never ordered on the customer side,
But I'm
but
saying it's like a normal app. I'm gonna order my things.
yeah. So I don't know if so when you I don't know if it gives you the menu for the restaurant or if you just know what they serve at this restaurant and you type in what you want because sometimes it's worded like they just typed it in, like it's not how it would be in
Like
a menu.
misspelled words or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
so but it would tell me what they want, and then it gives me the phone number to the restaurant. So I'll unless it's fast food and I can go through the drive-through, I'll call it in. And
Okay.
so say it's like a Mexican food place, right? They want 2 enchilada plates. I'll call that in. Takes them about 15 minutes or so to get it ready. So hopefully I get a DoorDash right after or right before I place that order. Go do the DoorDash and then go pick that up.
I wonder why they add that step. That step of having you do it. Like it seems like it's to me like I know that team. I know what they're doing. All the apps have this accessibility. Why? There must be something clever they're doing by not sending it directly to the restaurant.
I think this is my thoughts only that you more restaurants are available to the app if it's not going to the restaurant, meaning if they just have that restaurant's menu in the app or however the customer can order from that restaurant, I can call it in. The restaurant never knows that it's a delivery service unless I just say, "Hey,
Ah,
this is a favor order."
but how are you
But
paying?
I have a favor credit card.
So they
It's
know
like the
it's
red card.
favor.
I
So
mean, when I pay for it, I guess they do.
right when they right, but okay. So, but again, that probably leaves a good taste in their mouth. Like, oh, that wasn't like these horrible other things like DoorDash drivers unassigning or not showing up and wasting food and blah blah blah. Like you
Yeah,
came in, you called it in like their normal orders. You showed up, you paid with a credit card that says favor. I get it. It's a
yeah,
different angle, but yeah, it seems interesting.
yeah.
Does the pay make it worth? Is the pay good?
Generally, so favor requires a minimum of a $2 tip on every order,
Okay.
which is nice. So I don't see anything less than $4.
Okay. So
But
it's
still,
a $2 base pay
yes, $2
and it
base pay.
requires a $2 tip.
Right, and then any curbside order, because HEB, I don't know if you've heard of HEB, they're local to Texas, grocery chain.
I'm not.
They own Favor, or they're partnered with Favor in some way. So if you do a curbside pickup at HEB for groceries, it's minimum $8. So the base pays 5, and then the $2. I mean, the base pays 6, and then the $2 makes it 8. Um, and so that's nice. I know I'm never going to be less than $8 on a grocery pickup. But generally, the people they tip, I get fairly good tips on those with Favor.
So let me ask you this. Are you allowed and maybe even required to provide them with a receipt?
No, it actually says don't give them the
Which
receipt.
see that now that's weird to me because if you're putting it on the credit card, because I was just about to ask, is Favor one of the better apps that is using real menu pricing?
It has to because I'm calling it in. So I don't see how they'd be marking it up. But
Yeah.
it makes me take a picture of the receipt. So I have to take a picture of the receipt, and then it makes me click. It automatically knows how much was charged to the card, so it makes me click on it to confirm it was $10 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then, but if the prices in the restaurant don't match the prices that the app had for their food, and so say the order ended up being more expensive than what was expected, it makes me go in and adjust everything on a digital receipt, and then submit it so that it matches the paper
Got
receipt.
you.
But then
And
it
for
does.
those listening, I do need to clarify this. We hate it when certain apps do this maliciously, like Instacart. Do not include the receipt. Do not. That is actually maliciously. In this case, I need to point out because I understand what's going on here. So the credit card that Favor is using is paying for this as the in-house pricing, but he can't give the receipt. Here's my opinion. He can't give the receipt be under just that odd chance that it's not about transparency in this case like the other apps. It's in case they accidentally were to put it in their taxes as some write-off or something because Favor's going to write it all off.
Mm,
So if you have a double transaction write-off, if you had a bunch of them, that could be a real problem. So my guess is, and I need to point that out because every other app that does that is usually because of non-transparency. But in this case, I don't think it's that. I really don't. I would because if you're going in and using the card, they're charging the card. But it would be interesting to see a favor customer, like a receipt, a copy of what they paid for something that what it cost.
Yeah. Yeah. I should order favor just to try that out.
Yeah, I mean, just like $10 worth, just to okay. I mean, you can tip the guy, but see, was it $10 the item itself, or what happened? I'm just curious. I think it's a great idea. And again, when I talked to their team, they kind of reminded me of the Para team. They were open. They were, I was like, why aren't you out of Texas yet? And they're like, some of the people were like, I know, right? Let's go. Like you could just tell. And I was like, it felt like an app where I'm like, this isn't some struggling app.
No.
Like this app seems to do really well. Like, let's move it on. You got to move it on.
It's very popular. And when I signed up, I was on the waiting list for 8 months, something like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, they've got a lot of drivers too.
And I know that you've tried this a couple times, dumpling.
Yes. I have one return customer right now.
Really? Okay.
And yeah, that was actually a neat thing. So I had signed up because I'd seen you talk about it. I
Right.
thought,
Yeah.
well, that's a good idea. My thought process was, now that we live out here in the sticks, a lot of people live out here around us, right, in the country. It's 30 to 40-minute drive to the grocery store. I work on the other side of that grocery store. So if I could get an order coming home and deliver it to a neighbor somewhere, there's no wasted miles. Even if it's not a high paying order, um, it's still on my way home anyways. So
Well,
it's
you're
paying
gonna
me to
you're
drive
gonna
home.
establish the pay.
Right. Yeah. But I mean,
Like I
if
went
it's
through a
not,
few different methods of kind of like trial and error. Because again, guys, it's not. I've told you many times, not like other apps. So like you might try the percentage or the flat fee or whatever. I had to tweak mine out a few times and use some help from other people using it to really get down to what this really works for me now. But there's other things you can do with it too. Do you know that you can put in there on your profile other things you do, plumbing? Do you know you can put that? And then if somebody said, hey, I need this plumbing job done, you can call Dumpling and say that you need $300 worth of plumbing parts funded.
really,
And they
I did
will
not
let you
know that.
use that credit card at that same rate. And the rate, guys, for Dumpling card is pretty damn fair. It's better than a Square invoice. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that if you take the customer in what I pay, because I kind of separate them, I think it's 7.1%. That's not bad.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean? Like
that's
if you needed $300 worth of parts and you were going to make 800, so you were going to make 500 on the job, they would charge you $21 and something in the end to buy you those
right.
parts, let you go do that work, and you can put it on your profile. You can
I'm gonna
put
do
dog
that.
walking, dog sitting, anything that you're able to do, you can put on Dumpling. And what I've had Joel, the CEO, on a few times, and he said, only, I'm like, so anything you can do. He goes, except for anything sexual.
Mm,
So
fair
nothing,
enough.
as long as you're not doing anything sexual with it or illegal, you can do anything. And in that, actually, I need to include this: no liquor, no cigarettes. Period.
Mm,
Because they know the law like I do. That's really all of you guys doing it are taking a huge chance. I tell you this all the time. Know your state's laws. But yeah, so the other thing I wanted to tell you about Dumpling while I had you here, because I know you're interested, is that, and anybody else, if you live in an area that, and again, these days, you don't have to live at a tourist attraction town or whatever. If you live in an area that has a decent amount of Airbnbs, there is a dumpling getaway, they call it now. And even if you go to dumpling.us, the personal shopper stuff's at the bottom. Dumpling vacations at the top. And it's how to service Airbnb needs. Like when they land a client, they connect them with you and you stock the house before they get there.
see, I really want to do that. I've heard you talk on that a little bit, and
Yeah.
that interests me a lot.
I mean, they have video, like because you're a dumpling shopper, you can go access all of the universities. So they've got the you can go look just at the vacation stuff, and some of the initial walkthroughs are pretty simple on how to do it. You can blindly approach Airbnb owners and just be like, hey, I do this, blah, 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 whatever. But it's something that's my next horizon, is that, because I've had some word of mouth customers from Dumpling, and they love me because think about it. It is tougher to land them, guys, but when you land one, you got to remember that one person has friends that are using these apps too. So if I land an Instacart client and she uses me 2-3 times and she's like, this is amazing, you're bringing me the receipt. You have to bring the receipt with Dumpling. You bring me the receipt, you type in my phone number at the stores, so I get the discounts, I get my digital coupons, I get my gas points. We have those in Colorado. Everything goes to the customer. And so I get double tipped. So once I get a client like that, they tell all of their friends, dude, stop using Instacart. I use this guy and it's way cheaper. He gets paid better, brings the groceries into the house. Like I have one person who, not all the time, but sometimes is like, hey, when you're there, would you mind taking the dog for a walk? If I do it, they tip me an extra $25, and we never worked that out.
Wow. That's really good.
So, I mean, just random stuff, dude. I mean, it really is your business. I can't tell you guys this enough. Like when you get on there and you're like, okay, where are the orders? Where are the shoppers? Like I do get an occasional, because I have a lot of zones on mine. I do get an occasional marketplace customer reaching out. In fact, I will tell you guys, you might get a lot of people reaching out to you about Trader Joe's. Now, nobody is allowed to shop at Trader Joe's anywhere on apps, and Dumpling used to be the one that was. And Trader Joe's kicked Dumpling out. But I do say to people, I'm an independent contractor. I can shop at Trader Joe's for you. But if you do that, you can't use the Dumpling card. So you need to figure out how you're going to fund that. Trust these people, like maybe have them as a client for a minute, or say, hey, and what I've done, people, is just explain it to them. Nobody's allowed to be in there. So,
It's crazy. I didn't know that about Trader Joe's with all the apps. We don't have one down here, so
yeah, no, they
I've
don't. They
probably been
don't.
in
They
there one
don't. I
time.
mean, if you think about it, have you ever been to one though?
Yeah, one time.
Okay, so like they're kind of small. Every Trader Joe's is exactly the same. Like the layout, everything's in the same spot. I like this one almond. It's gonna be exactly the same shelf in every city.
Wow.
They don't want gig app shoppers in there being annoying and dropping phones and pushing people around.
Oh, gotcha.
Like they just were like, are you kidding me? Like, no. You're not allowed in here.
Wow.
But they did talk to Dumpling, and actually for a while Dumpling became the sole one that could do Trader Joe's. Lasted about 6 months, and it wasn't anything to do with how Dumpling was run. It was just, even on that level, they didn't want it. They're like, no, we can't do this. But Dumpling should be something everybody checks out, especially now. I know we're all like fluctuating with the days and the economy and inflation and cost of living and everything. But check into Dumpling. I was going to talk a little bit about flex scheduling. Obviously, for you, that's huge. For me, that's huge. I've been a single parent, not a co-parent, but I've been a single parent. My son is now, as I was joking about with you, he's now 18. He has a full-time job. He took a gap year because he started a year early. So he turns 18 in September, or 19 in September of this next year, and that's when he will be starting. And took a gap year. He's working. He does have like some goals that he's going after, and but right now I'm dealing with adult parenting, and that's why I was laughing at it, because it is interesting. And for those of you that might think that this is weird of me, you can't think this until you have to don't try it yourself. My son pays the electric bill, and he pays $200 towards groceries every month. I've had some people say to me, dude, why would you do that to him? Because the real world ain't friendly anymore. And I don't want him to be going out on his own. Dude, what? You know, he has a very
Yeah.
good understanding of money. And I do get some people who tell me, like, dude, you shouldn't be like, are you kidding me? It's just the two of us here. Why wouldn't
It's
he? He's able bodied?
yeah, it's really gonna help him out.
Yeah,
You
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 know.
don't want him to be shocked. My daughter, she just turned 19 and she doesn't, well, we don't, like I said, we don't pay our electric bill and all that stuff here, but she pays her insurance for her car and
Yeah.
her car payment. And
Oh, see, I need to
that's
add
about
that.
as
I
much
need
as
to
she
add
can
that one to
afford.
him too. At least the insurance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive to insure a young driver.
Dude, everything's expensive. I'm sorry. I mean, it just is. I literally, I don't even, I get panic attacks going places now. I'm like, oh
Mm,
God.
yeah.
Like grocery stores. When it's not, if I'm working on dumpling, it's one thing. If I'm going for us, good Lord. Um, but so also while we're on that parenting, when I first came on your live stream, and oddly, I just got a little notification that the potential jackass, we'll figure it out here right now, went live, which
Just
is
now?
just now.
Really? For real, I didn't set up a live stream with that guy.
Uh-oh. Who knows what he's doing?
Oh, wow. Okay. He has a mind of his own.
For those of you that don't know, I was in Dashing Mavericks live one day, and you guys know me. I love to joke. And I can take as good as I can receive. But this guy got me good, man. He got me really good, and even the chat was playing in. I don't think you were watching the chat real closely, but the way it was weaving, I was so sold, and I was just blown away because I just looking at you, I was like, this guy's a good parent. What's he doing? Idiot. And I'm thinking this about you. I'm sorry, but I'm like,
I
you're like,
mean,
you guys got to understand. Let me put it out there for the audio podcast listeners. So Drew here is, I was in a live stream, and there's another channel. I won't even give it the credit of mentioning it because I don't want the audio podcast going there. You people going there, you have no right being there. But there's this other channel, and the guy looks extremely like Drew here for the audio podcast listeners. I mean, almost to exact. And the day that I first learned about him, I was told that he was, I can't even remember about how long you had known him or whatever. You kind of just met him. He was needing a favor from you. He was like, he had been doing some weird things like stalking at your house. And I remember the moment that I was in that live, you said you were doing this real-time thing about him being at your house and your kids were there. And you were telling your kids not to let him in. And I was just ripping my hairs out going, dude, what are you doing? Like, deal with this, floor at home and kill this guy. Cause I'm all about the kids. Right. So for those of you that have like seen it and think like, dude, why do you keep hating on this thing? Because when I first learned about it, I really thought the guy was going to do damage to his kids or something bad. It really came across that way too. You guys pulled a long one on me here. You know what? We don't need that, but we can give him this for a minute. Screw that. Put those up there.
so I will say, I think what happened that brought the kids up. So, um, Dashing Goose was actually live at the same time that I was live, and
Yes,
my daughter had like poked her head in front of the camera. So someone in the chat had said, "Your daughter's there," and I think that's what brought up the kids and him being there, and got
exactly.
you
And
all freaked
again,
out.
remember that maybe I don't know this for sure, but everybody else in the chat knew that the background of the two of you. Like I didn't at all. Like like it might even let's say this. Let's just call it Drew's doppelganger because it is that close. And who knows? I don't even
It's
want to, look, I won't hate on the guy anymore because I know he's not a danger, right?
no, no. I mean, if you watched one of
Maybe.
my videos, he ran me over. I don't know. Have you seen that, Steve?
Yeah,
Where he
yeah,
ran me over?
yeah.
So
But
a
see, but you
little,
shouldn't say
but
stuff like that. 'Cause then people are gonna be like, wait, he is a bad guy. What are you
he
talking about?
regrets it. He regrets it.
Oh, okay.
And
So it's
that's why he
it's
wants
like
to be my
DoorDash
best
when
friend
they
now.
stole all the tips. We're sorry.
Yeah, but
Did you
he
steal
won't do it again.
$11.5
That's the
million
difference.
worth of tips between 2017 and 2019 in Illinois? Yeah, but we're sorry. So it's
Yeah,
like that?
it's like that, but he won't do it again. They might.
Well, DoorDash said they won't either. Oh, they've done it 4 times and been caught though. But anyway, I will let up on the guy, but I'm going to keep my eye on him. I'm not going to talk about
Fair
him
enough.
anymore. You know, you know, and I
Don't let
find it
him haunt
weird.
you.
I didn't even look again. I just saw the drop down. I don't know how he goes live at this time, unless it's that workout live that I was very confused about as well. So, because I even
He
tuned back into it hours later. I'm like, wait a minute.
he's he's a very odd fellow.
He is
I'll say
he's
that.
an
Like
extremely odd fellow.
I don't know where
Um,
he came from,
yeah, I mean,
but
and
he
that's
does some weird
almost
stuff.
impossible because unless he is the true doppelganger, he would have to be your twin or you.
But he's
I
definitely
mean,
not me, and I don't
right? I
think
know.
I don't see the resemblance.
Yeah, I know.
So,
It's because he wears a DoorDash hat too.
and goggles.
Yeah, but he takes the goggles off sometimes, right? No.
Sometimes. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Anyways, you guys, if you see if you see a goose around, you know, and you feel like getting mad at it tomorrow, you should. That's all I'll say. Don't hurt it, but if it's human, address it. Uh, okay, multiple income streams. As I'm getting older, I love to have a bunch, and I say this even meaning the gig space. So I do production, you do plumbing, you do this cooling system stuff. You have that going. You have different gig apps. Which gig apps do you fully do? Or I mean, like, which gig apps are in your arsenal of what you'd turn on? And do you have a couple that you're like, I hate turning this one on, but it is available to you?
Yeah, I've got DoorDash, Favor, Instacart, um, Walmart Spark, Grubhub. I think other than Dumpling, I think those are my main ones. Grubhub is one that when I first signed up, I never even saw an offer uh, for a couple months, and then they soft deactivated me.
Yeah.
And then I finally got back on it, and now I see offers, but they're never any good. I think I've done 2 or 3 deliveries for Grubhub, so I debate on even if I'm going to mess with that one some days.
But I see you do a
DoorDash,
lot of Spark, right?
yeah, I really like Spark. It's one of the higher paying apps.
And that's why
Um,
I love these conversations because I could have I didn't last week, but I mean, like, the last guest I had on might have said, dude, Spark has been dead in the water since we turned into a sanctuary city. Depends who I'm
oh,
talking to. It really does. But even Brandon in Wichita Falls, he's one of the biggest Spark people I know. He used to be a dasher. Now he only does Spark when he does work. And so when he does Spark, he had that price of, I mean, a little echo. He had the price of where's that echo coming from? It's killing me.
can't be me.
Is it?
I know I've
Oh
got
no,
an
no,
AirPod in. I don't.
no, you're good. Um, but he was loving Spark. I know a lot of other people who did too. In our market, it just kind of right out of the gate kind of flopped. Like, we never had it, didn't flop. It's still here, it thrives, but it never had that honeymoon period with the super high pay that initially people had years ago. Then that went down a bit. Then if you were near a sanctuary city, it went really down. And then it seems like it's been coming back up. I don't know how long you've been on it, but I do know it's hit and miss now. There were these great markets. There were some that weren't so great, like mine, but there were these great markets that all fell. But some of them are coming back. So obviously, you're in one that earns good consistently.
Um, it's hit and miss depending on the day. Um, some days I can get I can do Spark all day, and other days I don't get a good Spark offer at all. Um, so it is hit and miss, but over the course of a week, it is good.
Yeah.
Um, I've been on it about a year and a half now, and I haven't really seen too much fluctuation with it. Um,
Yeah. Cody says there, Spark is where the money is. Plus, it's the most transparent app out currently. excluding the weight on tips. I mean, I think there's some other. I mean, look, Cody, you know how I feel about Instacart. Instacart's transparent. It's just horrible. You want to do 180 or you want to do a 90 unit shop for $7, tip included? No, that's 2 hours. It's like $1 an hour.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do not like doing those the general merchandise or the online orders.
Yeah.
Those they're just a headache.
You just like the pull up, have it
I'll do
loaded.
Yeah, I'll do curbside or I'll shop, but
Okay.
I don't want 13, 14, 15 packages that I have to deliver that said it's going to take an hour and a half and takes 2 hours and 15
Oh, right,
minutes.
right, right, right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I hate
yeah.
that.
No, he's talking about Goose, or she's talking about Goose. Um, so let me see. Let's see. But the income multiple streams. I mean, do you have other ways? So, like, you have a YouTube channel. I don't think that that's like your stream of income yet, but it could be, or maybe you start another one. But you have your plumbing. Your wife has her income. You guys have a free house. So, like, free housing, cost of living, all these factors are your incomes. I know a lot of people who are younger. Uh, maybe they're just doing DoorDash, not even multi-apping, which Kim and I talk about all the time, is like that's pretty much impossible. So, but if you're younger and you live with two roommates in a city that's somewhat cheap, maybe that's a lifestyle you can do. But as you get older, these multiple stream of income become very important, people. Like, so if sometimes you hear me talking about all these multiple streams and you're 10 years younger than me or something, just realize it's something that you should be open to. Like I was telling Drew about dumpling, you can put skills that you do things. Are you a woodworker? I have a friend that does dumpling who put on, because he's a cabinet maker. He put that he's a custom cabinet maker. He's had more jobs from that than shopping
Wow.
because it got keyworded. So
Yeah.
people have found him in that dumpling app, and they know that dumpling app is a certified website. It's not certification, but it's almost like saying, yes, this guy's for real. It's not Craigslist. He's real. He's funded, and so obviously meet the client or whatever anyway. But any skills you guys have, I mean, anything, if you don't want to do rideshare, but if you have a grocery client, you could say that, hey, if you ever need rides to the airport, that's not doing rideshare. You could offer a grocery client to be able to do that. Again, you work out the money. I mean, it just start expanding yourself. I say it all the time. I don't mean to sound like I'm beating a dead goose, but but again, or no, not that one. That one. Again, I kind of am beating a dead goose because, yeah, I mean, if if you're not, I'm concerned because even if you're like, my market still rages DoorDash, that really worries me. If you say you multi-app, okay, I'm not as worried about you. If you, one, I mean, like, here's another problem. If you love one app so much, but you can't, that you really put 90% of your effort into that app, but you're on 6 or 7, or maybe you're on 10, but you use 4 or 5, really, you love them. Make sure you use those other ones a little bit because you just never know. Keep them active. You just never know
Hmm.
what might happen. I know you could also use it every day and be randomly deactivated for no reason at all, wrongfully tomorrow. Who knows? But use the other apps that you have. Don't get so locked into one. Like, well, I'm killing it with this one right now. I get that, but work that one when you can kill it on that one, and make sure you're still putting in some others on the other apps. It's just a piece of advice I have. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I learned that wisdom with Grubhub. I don't like being soft deactivated, even if I'm not using it a lot.
so in the order of what you like them and how they pay, how would you rank the ones you use?
Spark, Favor. Oh, I forgot to say I'm on Uber Eats also. Spark, Favor, Instacart, Uber Eats, and I guess
You can't.
DoorDash and then Grubhub.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't put dumpling on there because dumpling's whatever you do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and DoorDash, I hate DoorDash here lately.
Yeah.
When I first started in the gig economy, I only had DoorDash and it was amazing.
I
And
think,
that
I
was
think
only,
everybody has that story.
yeah. And the tier system started in August of last year here. We were one of the first 3 trial areas, and once that hit, that was it for me. I just
Yeah, I mean, you still have it? You still have it to go
Oh
on.
yeah.
Were you a
And I
top
s-
dasher? Were you like Kim, my co-host on Thursday, Kim's Side Money Plans? Were you like, oh, she'll always stay at that? I'm 80%. I'm top dasher. I'm platinum. I'm aluminum. I'm tiered. It's like,
I was yeah, I was top dasher, and I would do, I could do over 100 deliveries a week, even with my day job.
yeah.
Um, and it was easy to be a top dasher. And then this tier system just ruined it. I've got like a 42% AR right now, and it just keeps dropping. I was able to actually get on the schedule on Sunday for 2 hours, and that's the longest I've been on in weeks.
What'd you make in that 2 hours?
Uh, hold
I'm
on.
just curious.
No, I'll tell you.
Or
Um,
or even more important, how much were you active?
I did have to pause it a lot because I was multi-apping at the
Oh,
same
okay,
time.
okay. So that
Um,
wouldn't be a fair question then.
yeah, so I didn't really keep track of that. I made $23 on DoorDash, but over a haul for Saturday and Sunday, I made 370 between all the apps.
Okay. But again, I guess I'm pointing out that it's odd because when Para was around, like from day one, I was with Para. Like when David was autonomy.jobs, I was with David. When it became Para, it was Jeff Tang, David, me, and Jimmy, and that's it. And we had tip transparency once, twice, got sued both times by DoorDash, got up to 250,000 active users. You guys know who you are, so applaud yourself because Para was the bomb. That's when I did 95% of the dashes I have. Now I have, I think I'm at 19%, which is one of the highest I've been at in a long time acceptance rate on DoorDash, but I only do 1 2 hour a week. I do it on Friday nights. I do it live, and it's hilarious. Actually, everybody loves it. It's actually going to be a members thing now, but everybody loves it. It's hilarious. Like this last one, I called about next. I called to make them give me $1. That was the end of the stream. It took about 17 minutes. At the end, I had wasted 3 people's time on a Friday night at DoorDash over $1. And I got denied, but they did say that they said, well, you need to be able to take those screenshots. I said, well, why can't I use an app like Gary's apps then, the driver utility helper? And they're like, I'm like, can I use that to capture? And she's like, if that helps you, I'm like, that helps me that way and in other ways. Can I use it? She's like, absolutely. So as you know, people, you're not allowed to use it. However, she okayed it. So I do have a video on
And
that.
you got it on video too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just a DoorDash support agent. Um, but nonetheless, everybody was there with DoorDash. Here's my opinion now, and I want to know what you think. I think it was going on before too, to a level. But like when you were top dasher and you say you were loving it, there was probably a perk to it that you literally could see. I honestly think that now, if you're even at that 80%, I don't think there is. And here's why. DoorDash isn't adding any more money to any orders. They're not going to go, he's a platinum person. So let's add $2 to that. That's not happening. They're supposed to be just feeding you the best offers. Well, the best offers don't have tips on them anymore. The best. I mean, or barely. There's unicorn tipping and all that crap is gone. Like, so, I mean, like the tips just aren't good. So my take is they're trying to get as many people up. And I think there's always been a way that they try and push this, but now I think they're fully doing this. And I think people need to either recognize it and understand it, or at least be aware of it and think about if you believe it could happen. Because I honestly think, like, okay, so Kim's a top driver. If Kim came to my market and I sat right next to her, or if I sat a mile away from a restaurant and she sat 3 miles away from a restaurant, I have 19% AR. She has 87 and way more dashes, blah, blah, blah. So I honestly think I'll get that order first. I think that proximity now outweighs whatever the hell your status is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think if you're sitting side by side, potentially it might go to Kim. But I think if I'm 1 mile and she's 2.5 miles away from the location, I think I'm just getting it no matter. I could have like Francis here. She has a 6% AR. So like I think that if I had an 80% AR and I was 2 miles away from a restaurant that was putting in an order and Francis was sitting a half mile from it, I honestly believe she would get that order first because I think they're getting to a point that they are just like, dude, it's got to be the rideshare model. Get things out quickly, as quick as you can. Otherwise, people on a sign, they sit there, it gets cold, just get it out. And I don't think they care anymore because they can't. The proof is in the pudding, and I don't see anybody proving huge tips anymore. I know people
Yeah.
still can earn on DoorDash, so I'm not completely trashing on it, guys. Again, I tell you all the time, if you can make an app work, great. I can't make every app work, but if you can, do it. Um, but I mean, what do you think about that? Do you believe that? Because I mean, even somebody told me like there was something about like, oh, that one probably has a hidden tip, and I was used to my parrot days, and I got to tell you, I was blown away because I can't remember. I think it was my live stream, and they were telling me take that, it has a hidden tip. I took it, and it was like 15.25, and after I did it, I was driving away and it ended up being 15.75. And I was like, it went up 50 cents. And the people in the stream were like, see, I told you there was a hidden tip. And I got to tell you, like, I didn't find that funny at all. Like, I found that
Yeah.
embarrassing. Like, that's a hidden tip to you? To me, that's an insult. Just show me. Why would you not just show me 15.75 in the work?
Yeah, I hate the hidden tip. I've been burned on that with a um catering order. And
Yeah.
I just assumed all catering orders, catering bag required means that's going to go up. So I took a $2 catering order to a business 13 miles away and it did not go up. So
So yeah, I mean, so that also goes to the point of I don't even think that always would be the case. So it's almost like there might be a hidden tip, but if it is, it's 50 cents. It's super rare that there is these days. It's not the $50 hidden tips anymore. Those used to exist. They don't. That's not what's happening. They've lost the LOP. They've lost catering. I've talked to Easy Cater and I work with Delivered and I've worked with Paraworks. I understand how all these companies work. There's a reason why 9 catering companies that are actually big started last year or the year before. They all started to take away what DoorDash couldn't handle
mm,
because catering and I've been doing Delivereds where the order subtotal is $49. That means that I'm bringing 2 people lunch at work and that Delivered is their work app. And so they're just using it. It might be even a couple bucks more. They don't care. It's easier, blah, blah, blah. And I still get paid, $20 at least on something. So they're now picking off 2-person orders. They already took all the catering and LOP. I honestly have been saying for a long time, people think I'm crazy, but I've been saying that DoorDash, I don't think DoorDash has it in them. Uber has the legs to run forever and be second to you until you drop. And I don't think they're going to have. I've also been saying that I do believe that with time we're going to see like some people might say to you, "Oh, in my market you can't do any DoorDash, but you can rage Uber Eats, or you can't. There's no Uber Eats, but you can rage DoorDash." Like Durango, Colorado, is a population of 82,000 people. It has Uber Eats, but it doesn't even have DoorDash. I mean, like, I'm just telling you, I think this
wow.
might be part of the future. I think you might see them instead of fighting to the bottom on markets, like picking which markets they have a stronger foothold in.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, work where the money is.
Yeah. Um, so okay, Goose is off the hook. You're running your channel. What is the is it for the company of others and the community? First and foremost, obviously it's something positive, but are you trying to get your channel to next level? Are you trying to get it monetized? Are you
Yeah. Yeah,
okay? Okay, okay.
I would love
I
to be
would love. I think
monetized.
everybody should. So
Yeah. So my channel, little backstory, you may or may not know this, but we originally started as a homestead channel. We had a mini farm, chickens, ducks, geese, rabbits. and it was great. But and that's where we actually got most of our subscribers from there. And then we ended up moving to, we were kind of in a rural area. We moved to a city, had to sell all the animals. And so I quit putting out content because I didn't have anything to record. And then I started door dashing and thought, you know what? I could get back into YouTube. So I just rebranded the old channel and made it Dashing Maverick.
Wait, was that
So
you that I was watching that some people were turning me on to that was doing, was it that short a time ago that you started dashing?
yeah. I rebranded like in January of this year.
Maybe
Um,
it was then. I'm trying to remember because I remember that somebody had a couple times had me watching a channel where somebody was doing something for me.
oh, it was probably me.
I mean, did you
That
know this community of people at that time?
No, no.
Okay, then no, it
At that
wouldn't have
time,
been.
I was solely into the
Okay,
homestead community.
yeah, okay, so it wouldn't have been that. Is that a different channel that is still going, or is that this channel rebranded?
That's this channel rebranded. All the
Okay,
old videos are still available to watch.
okay,
Um,
okay. But when you're dropping videos, you're hiding from your doppelganger who also has a channel that I don't even understand.
it's His channel is just meant to be satire.
Oh, I know what it's meant to be. Knowing that he's not a child stalker makes me feel much better. So, okay. Because I think it was one of the people in your live. I know who it was, but I think they were getting mad at me because I was giving so much, or it was Francis's live. And the other day, and I was giving so much crap to Goose. I think it almost was like what happened to me when I learned about him. Somebody who liked you was in there, and they're like, dude, why are you dogging on this Goose so much? And I'm like, no, dude, it's over. I'm like, either it comes clean on Monday or it's over. So,
That's hilarious.
so hopefully, like it's over. I don't, and then if I see a video from Goose come out, I will strike back, and that's not like me. You guys know that, but I will strike back and strike back hard.
As long as you watch it.
No, I don't, and that's the thing. I don't do the dramas. It's not my style, but I do. You guys need to check out Dashing Maverick again. All audio podcast listeners at youtube.com/at Dashing Maverick will take you to his channel. You can also find it in the link below, and you can find it in any audio podcast notes wherever you are listening to it. Again, the Rideshare Rodeo podcast is on every single audio player in the world: Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, Apple, and every other pod player globally. Yeah, make sure that you are checking that out as well. I have one final thing to tell you guys for this week, and I hope you're all stoked by it. If you do rideshare or delivery, does everybody know about Dovetail?
I
Do you,
don't.
do you know about Dovetail? Okay.
No,
I
sir.
didn't either till today, actually. But a good friend of mine turned me on to it. Dovetail.ai. Every Monday, you can go to that website, or I think you download the app or whatever. I was reading about it, and he's been using it. He says it's great. You can submit Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, and DoorDash earnings, just a screenshot of your earnings for that week. And for each of those four that I just named, you get $10 per each one that you submit
Really?
every Monday.
That's worth it.
So I don't think
Well,
anybody else out there knew that either. So all of you listening or watching on the replay or listening to the download or to the audio podcast, dovetail.ai, DOVETAIL.ai. I think that the
it's-
website will take you to an app, and the app it's just real simple. You just take screenshots and upload them. I think they're trying to get metrics on the country of who's making what and how many hours where.
wow.
So
I'm gonna join that. Thanks for that info.
so yeah, so that's why I said it. Even Aska she's in Chicago and she just asked, what is the purpose of it? I think that again, the only thing I can come up with is it's some kind of, maybe it's a subsidiary company of Argyle, who is the one that collects all the data from Uber and everybody else, but doesn't share it back out. So maybe they're trying to collect data directly from drivers and add them all up in the markets and make averages and see what's up. for reporting reasons. Maybe the state will pay them or whatever they might do with it. I don't know. I don't care either, because we have our data stolen and sold by every one of the gig apps every day. So even the ones I like, Curry, I don't know if Curry does actually. Curry probably doesn't, and a few others probably don't either, guys. But the big ones absolutely do on a daily basis. But the value of selling personal data, sadly, has gotten pretty low. So like that's why the telematics has come into play. That's what's big now. The insurance companies want to buy that anonymously to see how hard you brake or how hard you accelerate. That's why they're running that now, because they're like, hey, we'll sell you this personal data. And they're like, we don't buy that anymore. We got stockpiles of that. It's kind of become like that. So that's like the new thing. So if you think your data is being stolen daily, it is. It's just not worth anything anymore.
Well, that's good to know.
But again, like, so what? They want a screenshot of what I earned? Done, dude. I'll do that. I'm happy to do that. You know?
Absolutely. Did you say it's $10 per screenshot?
Per screenshot of the 4 apps. And maybe they'll be adding more, but it's Uber Rideshare, Lyft Rideshare, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. So Uber Eats and DoorDash, or Uber and Uber Eats are 2 different ones. I asked specifically. You can break each down. If you do both, you can break each down. So if you do all 4, you can make $40 a week, guys, on Mondays before you even start your day. That's a nice start to the Monday, right? You go into this app, you submit your earnings from the last week, and they don't have to be good.
I was going to say, what if I didn't earn anything?
I don't know. I mean, if you submitted it, I don't know, because I don't know. We'll have to learn together, I guess, on this one, and then we'll have to trade notes, and everybody else here too. Check it out. I mean, no harm, no foul. At least go check it out. This comes from a very good friend of mine who I dearly trust. They know what they're doing. They're in the app space themselves, and they were like, "This is if you would like this money, this is a good thing." And they wouldn't give me the green light unless it was. So, again, I'm going to be doing it. So look, I don't do Lyft, but I do Uber Eats and I do DoorDash, and I am on Uber Rideshare. So if I take 1 ride a week, and I probably won't every week, but like I just kind of these days like look for like a 5 ride bonus, like, do 5 rides and on Saturday and Sunday in Denver, and they're every couple of months, and get $200. Okay, I go out and do 5 short rides, I'm done. That's because I did so much rideshare back in the day that I'm not into it, but I'll do it for that reason. But maybe I'd do 1 just to be able to have 1 earning, add $10 to it.
Yeah, makes it worth it.
I mean, again, 1 is easy. 1's like, there's just no purpose to it usually. But if I'm like, well, wait, that allows me to submit my earnings, I'll make another 10. So even if I only make 10, 15, that's $25 for like 15 minutes of work. I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I actually am on Lyft also, but I'm not a fan of rideshare at all. One, my truck, I use it for all my other work that it's always messy anyways. But when I first signed up for Lyft, they offered me $500 for 5 rides. So I did that.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen that since then.
And you never will again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might see bonuses, but that is how they get people. Now they're tougher, and now they're more money though too. Like I think the last one I saw here was do 300 rides in 45 days and make $2,200 guaranteed. Now, guaranteed means that if you made it on those rides, they don't pay you anything.
Yeah.
So this would be a good time to get Maximo, Gary'sApps.com, Mr. Middleton, and set your filter on Uber and Lyft to any rides under 2 miles. That way you'll only see the ones under 2 miles. Do that.
That's good.
But again, guys, dovetail.ai, I haven't even used it yet, but it's a green light from very good people that many of you know. So check it out. I think that we all are looking for any extra income, and this is no work. This is literally being on your phone, which all of us are every single day. You're just going to take the screenshots of, if you're only on Uber Eats and DoorDash, you'll get $20 a week. What would that take you to take 2 screenshots and be in an app and upload it? What, 5 minutes? That's a nice $20 to start the week right there. Get out of the shower, $20. Let's go.
Absolutely. I'll be doing that.
But again, guys, check out his channel, and And Drew, thanks for joining me, man. I know that I know that we probably could have talked about a lot of other things too. And I know there was probably some concern that some of it would be based around a certain thing, that I don't know. I'm still, the jury's out on this one.
That's all right.
But
You don't have to like Dashing Goose as long as you like
do
me.
you like him?
I hate him.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep hating him.
Yeah. I wish he would leave.
I like
Come
hating
around.
him. So, guys, we do an hour. We're just over into overtime. Thank you for joining. That's a wrap for the week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe, earn smart, be good to each other. And we'll see you back here next week on the Rodeo Podcast.
Happy
She
Thanksgiving.
was just a baby. Ain't no way